Hello everybody. It is Friday, the 14th of November, and I want to talk about the natural order of the Creator, and that what we are doing, have continuously been doing, is to create imbalance in the natural order. I want to talk again about those entities that people say exist, and I have no problems with that, to say that they do exist, like the energy vampires, what they call the energy vampires, beings that live off negative energy. I have no problems with saying they exist. Why not? We always discover new and amazing things that we did not know before. So, as I said, I have no problem with that. But as I said, humanity has been disturbing the natural order. We have done so in this world, in the solid. And I have a feeling that what is happening now, we've done the same in the spiritual. Yeah, we have not changed. We are doing what we're doing, below and above. And I really want to apply here Hermetic principles. Yeah? Not just repeating the words, but going into the meaning of those words. As below, so above. What we've done below, we've done above, and we've created imbalance. And again, this as below, so above. There is no separation. This world is not separated from the Creator. It cannot be, because everything is Creator. The Creator is the source out of which everything is created. And there can be no separation. So this world is Creator, and you can see Him in His fruit and what is created. Even the solid. You do not have to go any further to see Him and to see the truth. Now we really absolutely need to get out of the God spell, out of the wrong idea that there are beings that have created this world, or that there is a God Almighty being that created all. Yeah, or this world is created by one God. Forget it. That is the God spell, and it's false. Look at what you actually know, what you can see, what you can actually see, what you can experience with your five senses, because that is already a level of truth. May not be the highest level of truth, but it is a level of truth. And I say, the higher you go, the truth does not change. You just see it differently. This world is created by all that have their being in it. The Creator is all. The Creator is you, the Creator is a woodlouse. They're all Creator. Every part is Creator. Nothing is created that is not Him. That was not a possibility contained in Him from the start. So this world is created by all that have their being in it. And then there is a natural order. The balance. The balance that is being maintained so that all can live. So that all can exist. Everything gives, everything receives. Everything is in balance with one another. To create a space for all. and in the space all give and all receive. That is creation. There is not one in this world that is the creator of all. All are the creator of all. And the creator himself is all. That is the truth. That is the truth you can see in this world. And let me say it again. This world is not separated from the truth of that which created it. The creator is reflected in his creation. Nothing is separated from him. Nothing can exist outside of the creator. There is no outside. He's all. Now that's the truth. Then let's talk about balance, about ecosystems, and about the way that we are affecting ecosystems, where we are affecting the balance of creation. We're terribly good at that. We're terribly deluded in saying ourselves, or we are the creators and we can do whatever we like. Yeah? And we do upset the balance. I've come to think about this. There's a couple of things that, again, were on my mind. Puzzle pieces that need to fit into a bigger picture. Now, I don't know, some of you might know that I am in Northern Ireland. And there is just beside Belfast a big freshwater lake. I believe it's supposed to be the biggest in Europe or something like that. And we have a terrible problem there with blue algae bloom. Now, a blue algae bloom is toxic, and it is very, very dangerous. And that presents at the moment a very big problem, because Lough Neagh is the freshwater reservoir for Belfast and other places in Northern Ireland. So that's a problem. Now, this blue algae bloom, they say, and I would say they're probably right, that it came from fertilizer runoff, off the fields and into the water systems, into the lake. And the algae is blooming basically because they're getting too much food. Blue algae does exist. We did not create blue algae. It did exist, it's always existed in fresh water. But again, the balance of it to a certain amount where it was not dangerous. That was the natural balance of blue algae in the water, which we have disturbed through too much feeding, providing nutrition that naturally would not have been there and created the bloom. There is a knowledge, there is a knowledge of what, again, cause and effect. There's another hermetic principle there, cause and effect, which is a knowledge of the Creator. We did something, and the effect was the blue algae bloom. So there's something we know in this world, and we're increasingly getting aware of disturbing ecosystems. So let's go with the other hermetic principle, the first hermetic principle, which is as below, so above, as above, so below. What we have learned in the small place of Lough Neagh can be applied in the bigger picture. Again, fractals, ever-repeating patterns. And I really think what is happening in this world, in the influence of those beings that are usually not in this world, but the influence we have now, they have now. And I think that is truth. is an imbalance that has been created through human interference. Again, we became aware of that we are more than the solid. We are the solid, but we are more than that. There's things we can do on the spirit. And yeah, what was that saying? They're falling over themselves about what it is they can do before they think if they should do it. And somebody really has not thought this through, and we should. If we are spiritual beings that can affect things on the spirit, that can do things on the spirit, then we really must think what it is we are doing. Because the principles, like the principle of cause and effect, will not go away. Those principles exist on every level of creation, and they will not go away. We affect something out there, we cause a change. We cause a change out there, and it will have an effect. Every bit as much as in the solid. So that maybe the solid was our learning ground. We should have learned something. Apparently we haven't. Well, we're not learning anything. I think for a big part, we're not learning anything here because people going around proclaiming this is an illusion. We are all there ever was and ever will be. There's no need for us to learn anything, and you can't learn anything here anyway. That is a way by which you can prevent somebody from learning, is telling them they know it all already. So we've learned nothing. We're going into the spiritual and we are repeating the same mistakes on a higher level. And I think that is what has happened. Now, okay, let's say there are energy eating entities out there, and those that live off negative energy. Why not? You see it in this world. You see things eating things that you would not touch. Again, as below, so above. You already know that in this world. See, I was thinking about scavengers. Again, another word that kept endlessly repeating in my head. Scavengers. Scavengers in this world. Now they eat things that are totally disgusting to you. Yeah? Or I was thinking yesterday a pile of shit is a feast to a dung beetle. They're cleaner-uppers. That is what they're supposed to do. And pretty much every ecosystem has got its scavengers. I mean, here we've got the crow, we've got the magpie. I see them eating dead things on the road. Fox, obviously. You go to Africa, you've got the vultures, the hyenas. They will eat the dead flesh to prevent disease from spreading. They fulfill a function in the ecosystem. And that's good. It is good for all that they're doing that. And there, as I say, but again, the hyenas stick with what they're doing. They're eating the dead things. They're usually not killing things to create dead things for themselves to eat. They stick to their function in the system. The lion is the killer, that is his function. The hyena is the cleaner-upper. So again, if we say this is a principle of how things are naturally organized, that is the natural order of the Creator. So if this world has got attachments like those beings that live of negative energy, I would say maybe they are scavengers. We have scavengers attached to this world. What do? They clean up the negative energy, the surplus negative energy. Folks, there will always be negative energy in this world. There are so many different things trying to share the same place. Yeah, there will be problems. There will be moments of problems where things rub against each other and create negative energy. And I say maybe they were there to clean up that surplus negative energy that we release. And that something has disturbed that natural order. One part of the natural order is that we do not know them. Usually we would not know them unless we seek the knowledge of them. And that, from what I can see, people have done that. They have, simply by asking the question, what is out there? Or what's creating this world? And they came across entities they did not know before. And were enslaved by those entities. And here comes, then unnaturally in this world, creating more negative energy than there should actually be, feeding that, and then those entities feed off that energy and they bloom like the algae bloom. They're getting more food than they would naturally get, and they're becoming bigger in the ecosystem than they should normally be. But then this is, as I said, quite possibly just a disturbance in the natural balance created by man. Again, created by us. Going into the spiritual, finding stuff that we were separated from before for a reason. To maintain, there were boundaries there that were there to maintain the natural order. And we cross those boundaries. We always do that. We cross the boundaries of the natural order. We do it below in the physical, and I would say we've done it above. But then, first of all, that happens, and then you have people that are under the God spell. Again, the energy-eating vampires might only be one part of what is out there. There may be lots of different entities attached to the world. The same way, again, as there's lots of different consciousness in this world. Everything you see is a form of consciousness. Everything that has life is a form of consciousness. There's many here. And then there's consciousness outside of this world. That again, I said, they might be feeding off this energy the way of scavengers. Not just one. But again, those that get knowledge of them are under the God spell. I know them. They are the only truth. They are the whole of the truth. They are the creators of this world, because I had it drummed into me there is only one entity that is creating the whole world. That is the God spell. And I'm going from that perception. If I know something out there, they must be the creators of the world. But the whole idea was wrong to start with. If there's something out there, again, if there's something out there, it is only one part Everything is only one part of the whole. The Creator is the whole. If they are out there, they are out there because they are fulfilling a function out there. Again, reasoning, the Hermetic way, from below, so above. They are there to fulfill a function in the greater ecosystem of creation. And as I said, what makes sense to me would be that they are scavengers. That are now somehow found a way of creating, growing their own energy. See, scavengers don't grow themselves, they just take the leftovers. But they have found a way of creating it themselves through us, through their servants in this world that are now doing their bidding. And that is a disturbance in the natural order. It's created imbalance. So, I mean, as I said, this world is here to teach us something. This world is a reflection of the Creator. It is not separated from Him. Nothing is, nothing can be, because everything is Him. You see the truth in this world. You're seeing the truth of the Creator. You might only know it through the five senses on a solid level. But that doesn't mean it is not the truth. It is still the truth. The truth has not changed. The truth does not change. Ever. It is unchanging. It is omnipresent. It is everywhere. It is omnipotent. It is eternal. It will not change. And then, again, really, Hermetic principle. What you know here. Hermetic principle and the idea of fractals. That it is just ever repeating patterns. We have knowledge here, and we can apply that knowledge. What we're being told is, this is nothing, don't go by the knowledge here, it's just illusion. Out there is something completely different, a completely different truth, and it's not. We know. We should be of sound mind. We should go according to our own knowledge. And we should apply what we know below, above. And we should know that our actions are the cause that will create an effect. And again, it will do so above the same as below. Our actions create consequences. And there is a natural order of things. That is the order of the Creator, and to understand that order is the knowledge of the Creator. That is the knowledge of the Creator. It's not starving yourself half to death, sitting there with a spaced out grin, declaring everything is love. That is not it. Everything is not love. There's more than love. Creator is ultimate diversity. It is creating balance in that diversity, that all shall live. There are laws by which that is governed. And to understand the natural laws is to understand the Creator. And as I said, if we are going into the spiritual, we are destructive in the physical, going against natural law, going against the law of the Creator. And we go into the spiritual, not knowing what it is we're doing, we will become destructive on speed. And I really think we have already some through their seeking and then going into service to those beings. Because, I mean, what does a prophet do? He brings people on to the knowledge of the kingdom that is not of this world to serve that kingdom. That's religion. That's the idea. You're being brought onto the knowledge of a kingdom that is not of this world in order to be in service to that kingdom. Whereas I would say they should never have had servants in this world. There was a boundary where we did not know them. And that boundary should have been there. That should not have been crossed. Reasoning from below in ecosystems here, I would say they're scavengers. And they get the food that they should have, naturally. Not turning this into a Loosh factory, yes. Should have never been that. That is creating extra food and disturbing a natural order, a natural balance. To my mind, anyway. I mean, think about it. Think about it. We really must get out of the fairy tales and out of the idea there's only one that created everything and see the reality of the Creator. See the diversity, see the ecosystems, see the balance. That is Creator. And as I said, as below, so above. I think we have created an imbalance in a natural, spiritual ecosystem. We need to get our act together and clean this up. Restore balance through the knowledge of balance. If there is a new age coming, and an age where we have greater knowledge, there would be a good thing, and knowledge is given to serve. There would be a works that knowledge should do, is restore balance. Restore the imbalance that we have created in our ignorance, in our lack of understanding of what it is we are in and what it is we're doing. So we have greater balance, greater knowledge. Let's use it to clean up the mess that we have created. There would be a good way to put that knowledge to use. Anyway, here, I leave it at this for today. And I'll talk to you again soon. Bye.